find solutions. And I'm really excited that I think I've got support all across this community, from Democrats, Republicans, and unaffiliated. People might not necessarily agree on everything, might not agree on national politics or even politics in Raleigh, but they want to work to solve community problems. And at the end of the day, solutions don't really bear a political affiliation. So I'm appreciative of that. But I also want to recognize Councilman Jan Davis. And I know, Jan, it's very difficult to be an elected official, even though the city's nonpartisan, to be elected official and to come to a political event of someone who's on the other side of the fence. And I want to really thank the Vice Mayor of the city for coming. I have great respect for the Mayor and members of council. I'm a country redneck, and sometimes there's a little culture clash, but Jan's done a wonderful job for the city, and even though we don't always agree, there's no one that's more committed or has a heart that is really a pure gold than Jan Davis. And Jan, thank you for being here. We have several folks running for the Board of Commissioners, and before I recognize them, we have some folks running for State Senate. R.L. Clark is here. R.L. served 2 terms in the North Carolina State Senate, and he's running again this year, and R.L.'s an outstanding young man. And,
thank you, mate.
And I'll say this, if R.L. has anything to do with it, the government will not waste one dime of your taxpayer money, because R.L. is tight as they come. Paul Perdue, he's running for the North Carolina House. Recognize Paul. Thank you for being here. And we have, I think, all 4 candidates who are running for the Board of Commissioners on the Republican side are here. And I should try to do this alphabetically, but Dr. Joe Dunn is here. Dr. Dunn served on Asheville City Council. I think he did a wonderful job, and here in a few months, the city and the county are going to consolidate our 911 emergency dispatch system. And there's probably no one in this community that deserves more credit for making that happen than Dr. Joe Dunn. He was a tireless advocate for that, and now if you talk to the sheriff, our emergency management director, Jerry Behan, if you talk to I think the city police chief, Fire Chief Grayson, they will all tell you it's the thing to do. And Joe really pushed for that, and it's going to save people's lives. It's going to be more efficient. And Joe, we thank you for that, among many other things. John Carroll, and so I'm not doing it in alphabetical order, because yeah. John Carroll is running. John served on the Buncombe County School Board, was former president of the North Carolina Association of Realtors, and is a realtor here in town, and is really community-minded, and appreciate John for you taking your time running. Ron McKee is here. Ron is, Bill Stanley told me one time that he coached Ron in football, and he said Ron was one of the fastest running backs that he ever coached. I said, Ron McKee, one of the fastest running backs he ever coached? But Ron did a great job. He was general manager for the Asheville Tourists for many years, and so he's going to go to bat for you on the Board of Commissioners, and we appreciate Ron taking his time to run. And I think some of his family's here tonight. Also, we'd like to recognize Don Yelton. And Don is one of the most hardest working guys around. He is tireless, he's fearless, and certainly persistent. And on his campaign signs, they said Don, because Don really looks at things in a different way, and it really is from an academic way. Don is a teacher and has a strong environmental passion and other things, so we appreciate Don and his wife Deborah for being here. And a lot of people ask me why I'm running for the Board of Commissioners, and to be honest, 8 years is a long time. And I've had fun. It's been a great pleasure, but we have some family health issues. Like I said earlier, my brother works 80 hours a week. Milking cows is a wonderful way of life, but you know, it's one of those things that cows never take a vacation. And they don't work for us, we work for them. And so, you know, it's been a challenge. And we milk about 150 cows, and we start at 2:30 in the morning, and we get finished about 7:30, 8 in the evening, and that's if everything goes well. So, you know, that's a challenge, and it's been, my brother is 33, will turn 34, and like I said, he never takes a vacation, and so from that standpoint, sort of wondered, if we want to run again. But I think our community really is at a crossroads, and that's why I'm running for the Board of Commissioners. I commend anyone that runs for public office. I don't care if you're on the far left, you're on the far right, whatever your ideological persuasion may be, it's not easy. And the reality is, you got to be thick-skinned. You're going to take some criticism. Some is deserved, but a lot's not. And sometimes, people criticize you on public policy issues, but they might do it in a personal way. And you've got to learn to separate, when they're upset at you for some political votes you've taken. That doesn't mean they're upset with you personally. That's just the advantages of living in a free society, and we certainly ought to treasure that. But I think our community really is at a crossroads. When I graduated from Reynolds High School, the top 10 students that were in our class, only 3 of them still live in western North Carolina. And we have a lot of economic prosperity here, but we also have a lot of challenges. The home builders will tell us it takes about $25 an hour to afford a home in Asheville and Buncombe County. And for most of our citizens, they don't make anywhere near $25 an hour. About 40% of our citizens, according to federal income guidelines, cannot afford housing in our community. And so how do we tackle these complex public policy challenges? Certainly we need to have a good quality school system, and I'm very proud that I've been endorsed by our Association of Educators. They don't normally endorse a Republican. Now, they've endorsed my Democratic opponent, but they will tell you, I'll sit down and I might not always agree with our school board members and other things, but I've really worked to have good quality schools in this community, to try to make sure that we graduate students that are capable to compete in a global economy, and that we don't leave kids behind, because the reality is those kids that are dropping out, the kids that aren't able to support themselves, you as a taxpayer, I don't care who we elect in Raleigh, who we elect in the county, who we elect in D.C., if you've got families out there that are not supporting themselves, that get involved in the criminal justice system, you're going to have to pay to keep them in prison, you're going to have to pay through the social service system, and it's a great challenge that we have. And if someone can be self-supporting and provide them that opportunity, that's where we need to go. And so, like I said, I don't have any criticism for my opponent. I commend his service. He served 3 terms on the Board of Commissioners. He's a wonderful family, and I commend him for that. But I think, there's really 2 paths we can take. And, the more regulations we pass in the county, and the more difficult we make it for affordable housing and for, for well-intentioned actions, but that really have an impact. We don't pass a rule that only impacts folks that build $1 million homes. They impact the people that are trying to build $150,000 and $200,000 homes even more so. So I think we need to be very sensitive of that. I think we need to realize that, in this election in November, that you could reconstitute the left wing of the Asheville City Council as a majority on the Board of Commissioners. And I grew up here, and I've lived here virtually all my life, and I don't think that really represents the values of the people of Buncombe County. I think we want to have good schools, we want to have a fair and open government, and we want to have an efficient government. But I think at the end of the day, if you talk to people on the left, people on the right, they think they're taxed enough from their property taxes. That gas is $4 a gallon, the prices in the grocery store are high, and it's a real challenge to make a living. So I think if you look at my record, look at my opponent's record, where we stood on taxes, there's been a big difference. And quite frankly, there was a big difference between him and his fellow Democrats on it, more to the extreme.